I have whiplash and a concussion.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go live in Saigon for 3 months.
Clip of my video that I made.
Welcome to Peter's Kitchen. I've been contemplating whether or not I should just tell everything. Some things on the internet you just keep to yourself and you need to process it. But I think I'm finally ready to just spill the tea of what everything's been going on and what I've actually been up to, man. It's a little overblown, but it is what it is. Sometimes with the internet, you get confused with what's reality and what's not reality. Do you share this much? Do you share that much? And I can actually trace back to when I started becoming a person that I didn't like that I was becoming. And it goes all the way back since 2017, man. 2017. And it started when I started this whole YouTube grind of trying to prove to people that I could do videos, this YouTube thing, and it just gave me a lot of shame from being myself on the internet and people making fun of me and me feeling ashamed for being myself. And what happened was I started working for this digital marketing dude, which turned out to be a complete scam. And it just made me very cynical towards the world. I was working for this guy, and promised me working with him that would, I get to travel everywhere. I would get to pretty much try to sell me a dream that wasn't much reality. This guy would lie to his employees about certain things, and there was eventually me in this little closet of 5 to 6 other people, and little things added up. He would promise to pay every 2 weeks, but the payment never came. Or things he would pay super late. Some months we wouldn't even get paid. But he's like, yeah, something's with my bank, XYZ, don't worry, you'll get paid. And there was even some sketchy ass parts where it's okay, I don't have the money right now. I'm gonna actually write you a check. And he actually gave my coworker physical change from the bank. And the check that he deposited into my account, the check bounced, aka there weren't any sufficient funds. And I ended up working for this guy for 2 years. There's a YouTube channel that I helped build, and this guy's own digital marketing company doesn't exist. Go figure, right? Because we all hated the dude. We knew that he was a scammer and a liar, and we still don't know how he makes his money. But it was working in a very toxic environment where this guy would belittle you, gaslight you and your capabilities. And he was essentially a phony, and he was affiliated with the big Vancouver entrepreneur guru land that I'm not going to say, because if I bring up the name, I'm going to get sued and have a cease and desist. And no one wants that, right? So it started with working for that digital marketing agency, and there's still part of me that's trying to process that, of working in an organization that's not really real. And it made me question being naive and question people's authenticity in the business world where it's such a wild west. So working for this guy, he had the money. We still don't know how he actually made the money. He's like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an investor in companies, I have blah blah blah. And it was apparent that he never hired any real people before. His social interactions were really weird, and he couldn't really explain of like his team members. And we eventually found out that his team members were actually all people from Fiverr and Upwork, which is like a really site where you hire off-seas people to be a part of your team, and it was just like really weird. But I don't want to get too much into that story of like, because I know how I can come off of like me just bashing this dude, right? But I'm sure no one is completely evil or no one's completely good. But I learned a lot from that, and from that experience, I worked there for a year and a half, and then after that year and a half, I was like, I'm tired of working for this phony dude, right? He makes me question my own skills as a content creator. And then I ended up working for this other global digital marketing agency. And this is where things took a little weird turn. So this agency was supposedly legit, right? Had offices all over the world. And I worked there for roughly 4 months, 3 to 4 months. It was a corporate setting, 50 people, so it was much more different than a startup. And after working there for 2 months, I would say, I would go and do video shoots. I would go on locations. So we would have to drive to a location on set, and I would go and film. And one day, this coworker decided, like, hey, you know what? I'll drive, Don't drive, Peter. I'll drive us to the shoot. He drives us. We do the shoot, and it's in a smart car, right? So we go in the smart car. He's like, hey, watch me, guy. I'm going to full send it. And it's over a speed bump. He goes 80 over a speed bump. I'm in the passenger seat. My head literally hits the back of the headrest. And then on top of that, it hits the roof because it's a smart car. It's so damn tiny. And I'm like, after that happened, I was like, why do I suddenly feel nauseous? Why do I feel sick to my stomach? And then the day after, I still feel this weird queasy feeling. I go to the doctor, diagnoses me with, I have whiplash and a concussion, end up going to physio about it, and I was out of work for like 2 weeks. Sorry, I hate this turn. That turn is so sketchy. I was out of work for 2 weeks. And during those 2 weeks, I'm like, let me learn more about this guy. Because this guy was like trying to run away. He didn't want to give me his driver license information. He was all sketchy and stuff. And this is my coworker, right? This dude sat next to me and he was like trying to dodge. Like, if you did nothing wrong, then it's like, why does it seem like you're trying to run away? So this kid was like really naive. He's a young kid, 19. And then he's like, yeah, my dad told me not to give you my driver's license information and XYZ. And there was a bunch of drama behind that. But since I wanted to do more deep dive into like who he was and who he is as a person, I did some research, I'm online. I can find where you are, who you're about. So I didn't really know this guy. Still like a new coworker. I search up his website. All videographers have their own portfolio and all that stuff, right? So I've been working for this company for around 2 months. I've made around 6 to 8 videos for them already. And then it turns out, I search up this guy's demo reel, and I'm like, wait a minute. In his demo reel, which is like a portfolio, from 2 to 6 seconds, there is literally my entire clip of my video that I made that he had nothing to he didn't touch any of that video. It's my edit, it's my text. He didn't touch or edit, filmed anything. I filmed it for the company. He literally took that clip of my video, put it into his demo reel, and claimed and put his name all over it to say that he did the interview and did everything. And I'm like, bro, this kid almost killed me, gave me a concussion, and then has the audacity to steal. As another creative, it's like, you have the audacity, bro, to steal one of my videos. And I eventually called him out on it. It was pretty funny. I was like, hey, how about we have a chat? I talked to him outside, and I'm like, hey, man, you with the whole car accident, whatever, it's not a big deal. By the way,
you know that demo reel that you have on your site? What's up with that? And he's like, oh man, he tried to play dumb, and I was like, oh yeah, sorry man, I'll change it. I just need a bit. And it's like he's one of those really manipulative person that was trying to take advantage because he thought that you wouldn't get caught. And I'm like, I ain't a fan of that type of people, man. I am not a fan. And time to make myself a favorite delicacy that I'm gonna show y'all. Alright, so let's get it, and I'll continue the rest of this, because guess what? The drama doesn't stop, man. The drama just keeps on piling up. It wasn't lined up before. A little bit more busy than I expected. I got what I needed. Welcome to Peter's kitchen. This is why I don't wear white. Come here, cameraman. Can you see it? Don't worry, it's just some sriracha. Okay, so after I went shopping, welcome to my haul. Come down here. This is the delicacy that I'm going to make. First, what you need is a whisk. This is flour and a little bit of cornstarch. Probably you don't need this much, but anyways. Next is, preferably what you want some make your own beef broth. So you buy some bones, beef, chicken, but I'm lazy, so you just buy the really cheap processed stock. This is beef stock. And then what you need is butter. This is some butter. Can you guys guess what I'm making yet? And I got some freshly cut from very fresh, okay? Very fresh, so fresh. You got some French fry, it's very fresh. I made these today, okay? So this is, any type of French fries will be okay. And then last but not least, you need some cheese. This is the cheese that's super stringy. It's aka called cheese curds, right? And if you don't know yet, I am making poutine. Leave this in for 20 minutes. Butter, and then you put in your flour. It looks like a freaking horror story right now, but where the hell did I leave off? And then I was like, oh hell no, I can't work at this place anymore. Especially the dude was like right next to me. He sat right next to me in this office. And I'm like, you know what? I quit. Screw this. Before 2 weeks of me quitting, I actually found an influencer that hired me full time, one of the biggest channels in my city that I lived in. And I ended up editing and making this person's content. It was great, right? I thought that this is finally like my dream job, XYZ, but I was miserable inside. I was making content for other people and making them bigger, where in reality, it's like my name was to never be known, and I'm like all behind the scenes. But, you know, things were going okay in my life, right? And I had a girlfriend at the time, if y'all don't know. And fast forward a year, this girl that I gave 4,000% into, looking back in hindsight and me processing it, it's like I should have left that relationship long time ago, but it was a good lesson for me to learn that I needed to love myself, right? And that's on some real-ish, man. Like, people are like, oh yeah, believe in yourself, be confident, XYZ, but it's like, you don't really learn to love yourself until you learn to leave yourself first. So right after the time that my ex-girlfriend broke up with me, like, I was gonna travel. And I talked to the influencer that hired me, and I was like, okay, how about you let me go work remote since I don't need to be there anymore, and let me go to Vietnam. And the influencer was like, yeah, of course. Like, as long as you can do the work, you can go there for 3 months, because that was my proposal. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go live in Saigon for 3 months. We'll see about that. Fast forward a year, I hit my anniversary with this influencer, And the influencer was like, oh yeah, Peter, you've been with us for a year. You've done a great job. The channel's doing well. You're crushing it with the videos. It's time for you to get a raise. 2 weeks later, I get fired. And it's due to the fact of the stress and everything from the year, from my girlfriend breaking up with me and crushing my soul, from my own influencer work getting fired without really much notice. I had no backup plan. I had nothing. And then my own dad getting injured and his health, and then my family's health. It took a big toll on me. And put all that together, concussion, people steal my videos, working for this shady dude, XYZ, and then trying to numb the pain with like online dating, and then getting a lot of drama from people and putting myself out there on the internet. Like the last thing you need to do is dabble in some online dating where you're going through all this trauma and you're trying to process that. And that's the real reason why it's like I haven't been posting, is like I needed to process that, man. And I needed to let that sink in and find and create myself again, and be able to just figure out who Peter is again, and really love that sense of who I am, as I constantly like learn to like my view and value of content. And if I make a video and only gets 5 views, why does that make me feel like a horrible person? It shouldn't dictate the fact that I made content, I put it on the internet, it makes me happy, and if it doesn't get enough views, I'm on certain channels, it's like, oh, I feel bad. Why is that, right? That's mental health and social media. And being able to find myself and who I am as a person, separate of the online reality that I put on as a character, a persona to the internet. And it's like, what is my reality? And just learning to figure out who I am and letting go of a lot of the things that I put my own character and my own self-beliefs of who I thought I was. And I needed to let go of everything. And I'm slowly with these last couple of videos, slowly piece together me again, and realizing that I needed to return to myself. And this was a crazy year, and it's probably a crazy year for a lot of people, man. And just health is wealth. It's cheesy. Love yourself. Take care of those people that you are around. And that's that serenity prayer. I'm not religious, but God, let me accept the things that I can and know the difference that I cannot change, or something like that, But my name's Peter, and you're watching. Oh yeah, dude. You sing. I'm like, what the hell? And my name's Peter. You're watching Broke the Habit, and let's keep on keeping on. Stay strong out there. I'm taking care of myself, taking care of my own mental health, because it's definitely taking a toll. And love everybody. Have love in your heart, and that's something I'm trying to be doing with everything. There's no such thing as bad people, just bad circumstances.